Here he is.
Here we are.
Here he is.
Another Friday. God.
Another Friday.
Hold on, it's Friday. I suppose.
Also, what am I thinking of? It's Friday. Oh no, it's Saturday Night Live. I'm thinking of. Watched that the other day. Didn't know it was on Comedy Central. You know, in the UK on a Tuesday night.
SNL.
It was on. Yeah.
Yep.
TNL in England. Tuesday Night Live.
TGIF. SNL.
Thank God it's Dave.
Frank's birthday. Yeah.
Frank's birthday. FMB. Anyway, hello everyone on the live stream. This is
hello.
Professional. This goes against everything that we'd advise for recording podcasts.
It does, mate. But we're mavericks, so carve our own path.
Bants, innit? All right. So we're going to record Spark Rebellion episode 95. You're driving, aren't you?
I'm in the hot seat.
You are the hot seat.
You know, 5 to 6 years bit of networking, you could be in the hot seat. So
right, let's record then.
Let's hit record.
This straight hair that I've got here. I can't even get to it. That grey straight hair.
Oh, there we go.
Right, here we go. Go on, I'll hit record.
Me too. Let's do it. Hello there, and welcome to Spark of Rebellion. This is your weekly Star Wars podcast, hosted by a couple of dudes here in the UK. Hope you're keeping well and safe. Welcome to episode 95. It's good to have you all here. Those of you that are watching on the live stream on YouTube, hello. Those of you that are listening back as a podcast, it's good to have you here. Those of you that have been with us for a while, welcome back. Those of you that have just found the show, if you've stumbled across us in Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever, then it's good to have you on board the Falcon. My name's Gary, one of your hosts, and joining me, as always, is the dude that now does his own hair. It's Mr. Mark Asquith.
Yeah, I cut it this week. Did Sam's as well, just undercut for her. Nice and simple. Yes, please, 4. Then did my own, which Sam was a little worried about. I wanted to go for this little, if you're watching this live stream, I want to keep a little bit of length at the sides, which goes against my normal style, and then take a little bit off the top to try and equalize it out. And what I was doing was cutting into it like I've seen the hairdresser Tom do. And yeah, I think I look pretty sweet, if I'm honest. I think I look 10 years younger. Sam said I looked younger, but I didn't believe her. Now I've seen myself on the live stream.
Well, you've shaved years off, mate. Years.
Shaved the years off, not the hair off.
You've had your ears lowered. Yep, you've had your ears lowered. And it's a personal... That's lockdown, dude. Make the most of these personal projects while you can.
There's a few personal projects that I've got ongoing as well. One of them is rip the bathroom out. The other one's do my hair.
1 out of 2 is not bad.
Said Meatloaf.
There we go. So that's us. Hope you guys all keeping well. Dude,
this has been Spark of Rebellion.
Yeah, wrap it up. Dude, we're nearly at episode 100. It's not too bad, that.
Not too shabby.
In the world of podcasting, it's like, not too shabby. How many episodes you got in the bag? 95. You're doing all right. You're doing all right.
Not doing too bad. Although, now everyone's like, yeah, I've been doing it since 2005.
Well. Yeah, you'll be surprised. But actually, no, I'm saying this to the wrong person, not you, buddy. But to our listeners, you'll be surprised at how many podcasts kick off with big fanfare. And then episode 14, it's like, yeah, we're bored with that. Let's start another one. Do a different one.
According to our friends at Libsyn, Mr. Rob Walsh, the average is 7.
Oh, I was going to make it 8, but...
So, yeah, what's Neil doing? What is Neil doing? Well, tell you what, I'll give you 3 if you need any more.
Well, it's cut overtime, like 20%. Anyway, well, this is not. We have to remind ourselves every week, this is not an office podcast. This is Star Wars. We've got some cool Star Warsy news coming up for you. Some Disney Plus stuff, which is good, a bit of Star Wars gaming news. And if we've got time, we're going to finish up with a wee bit of chat that's been going on around a certain person that was axed from The Mandalorian. If we get onto it, so buddy, before we crack on with that though, you keeping well? You've had a good week. You done anything Star Warsy?
Well, I've been into that Into the Dark book. And I like Claudia Gray, man. Like, she's author of some of my favorite books in the Star Wars canon. Lost Stars is the favorite one, but so far this one is shite. It and I
Oh,
like
no.
Claudia Gray a lot, man, but it is boring me.
Oh, mate.
I know, and
How much?
that's a bit harsh.
Well, how far are you into the book?
Like 100 pages, which is what, a fifth, maybe? I don't know.
Mm.
It's just there's not that much going on. Like it's just not the usual Claudia Gray, you know. Actually, that's not true. She's normally really character driven, and I feel like this one is as well. But it's just the characters are just not that interesting to me yet, which is a tough one because it's taking place like alongside the last one, Light of the Jedi. You know, it's like, oh, what's that over there? There's an accident in hyperspace. We'll do our thing over here. So I don't know, man. It's just I'm finding it a slog. It is just so far not very good. Now, having said that, I do understand and appreciate the fact that it will take a little bit of setting up. It's a bit like Alphabet Squadron, like a lot of stuff to set up, you know, a lot of people to set up in a lot of situations. So I'm not giving up hope on it, and I'm not dissing Claudia Gray because she is my favorite Star Wars author right now. But this book so far is just not been very good. So I'm hoping it's because it's set up, dude. Have you read it? Are you into it? Have you started it yet? Because I know you've got it.
No, I've not started it yet, mate. I don't think I want to now.
Well, don't say that. That's coming off with
it.
just water.
Now you've ruined it. I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, it's a funny one. It is but like I said, I'm only 100. I don't want to spoil it if you've not touched it. I'm only 100 pages in. It's just there's that many little characters that they're trying to. I don't know. There's no dynamic to it. You know, like the first one was like. In fact, let me just rewind a bit. With most Star Wars, they hook to something, don't they? So they'll say something like, let's use Lost Stars. It's like there are some characters, and here's this stuff happening adjacent to the Death Star being blown up. So you kind of like that's enough to anchor me, so I get this perspective on it. Like that other thing that I know about is happening over there. This one, it's like it's not established enough. Like the universe that it's in is not quite established enough yet. Do you know what I mean? So there's not. You lose the anchor point, and the characters you don't know either. So you don't have either side of it. So you're starting fresh. I'm sure it's just that, but I don't know. It's just not riveting. Sorry, I can stop ranting on about it, but I'd be keen to know your thoughts on it, dude.
So everyone that has got the book, look forward to that.
Sorry about that.
So
what have you been doing?
Well, I certainly haven't read anything. I'm glad I haven't now. But yeah, I will dive into that book though. I'm reading a couple of other books at the moment, non-Star Wars. So when I got them out of the way, I'll dive in. But just more Clone Wars rewatch, dude.
Yeah.
I tell you what, there was such a sweet episode, man. Lethal Trackdown. Rick, man.
Is that the undercovery one?
Yeah. Yeah. Aura Singh.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, when I finished watching that, I was like, why we've said it so many times on the show, like, why the frick have they not got Filoni just doing the live action stuff? Even back then, like stories and episodes like that, just when that finished, I was like, that was so good. Like the writing was bang on point, razor sharp. The story was good. The characters were good. Like Plo Koon's such a cool Jedi Master, man. He's such a good. And the way they've done his voice as well in the show is badass and just so good. Yeah, it's a bit more Clone Wars, dude. That's about it.
Did you do season 7 in the end? Have you done it?
No.
Oh my word. So we're screwed then. We can't even talk about the main story from this week.
No. We can tiptoe around it.
Oh, all right.
You're just gonna have to be careful with stuff.
All right. I can do that. I mean, granted, I can't remember much about the storyline anyway. So
Well,
I'll pretend I'm tiptoeing, but really it's like, yeah, that's all I remember. So that's all good.
Fair dues, mate. Well, let's crack on with the first story then. So the Bad Batch, that band of rogue clone troopers that were first brought to our screens back in the Clone Wars. The dudes, Clone Force 99, those dudes. They're getting their own show. We knew they were coming last year or the end of last year. We got that big announcement day where they rattled off all of those shows we were getting. And this is the first one outside of The Mandalorian to get its own proper run, which is good. I thought this was going to come a lot later, dude, because I thought, yeah, animated shows, they take a long time to do. However, those very skilled people over at Disney Plus and Lucasfilm, they've done the business. They've done it. So May the 4th, Star Wars Day, we're going to get the first episode of The Bad Batch, episode 1, and then they're going to follow it up with the second episode a couple of days afterwards on Friday, May the 7th, which is going to be good because they're going to do that Friday slot, and then they're going to drop a new episode every Friday until the end of the series. So they're still going with that episodic weekly thing. They're not going to do a big binge dump, which sounds wrong. But yeah, dude, The Bad Batch, this is going to be freaking sweet. You up for this?
Yeah, do you know, it was a funny one with the Clone Wars. Now, like I said, I'll not spoil it because you've not seen it, but like the first few episodes, I found an interesting choice, of season 7, because it was like, what? I'm not really that much of a fan of this. When you watch the first couple, it was like, what's going on here? Why have they done this? And it's clearly like the backdoor pilot for the Bad Batch, which now we've got the Bad Batch, I'm completely fine with, and you come to respect the characters. So I kind of like the Rambo style nature of these guys, and the specialisms and the whole. It's like they've taken, like Filoni's just gone, right, we want Rambo. There is actually one that looks like Rambo. So we want Rambo, and we want all of the like different meta classes of warrior that you see in all of these badass games, like, weapons classes and so on. We'll stick them together and we'll put a new angle on the clones. So it's actually quite cool. So yes, I'm up for it. And I was going to say something that almost would ruin a story out, so I'm not going to. But there are other things and people that are interesting with this series as well. So yeah, I'm all right with it. I think it's going to be good. And I think like that particular arc of season 7 was a weird one. But it did a few things for like Obi-Wan and Anakin, and a little bit of banter and a little bit of like, wait a sec, Obi-Wan knows what's going on here. Like a little bit of, that kind of. So I'd be keen to see how that translates to this post Order 66 style era, because we've never really seen that much in new canon, direct, like literally straight after the Clone Wars ended. So the time frame's quite interesting, but yeah, I mean, it's the animation style of the Clone Wars. It looks pretty sweet. It's sort of a what's not to like at the minute. It will. I think it'll need to do something interesting to keep us hooked. It's going to need to delve into a little bit of. It'll either need to be. What am I trying to say? I'll say it. Come at it from a different angle. It can only dine out so long on being like action packed and cute. It can only dine out on that for so long. Like it has to tell some stories, and I think that might be where they struggle a little bit, because it's sort of what stories do you tell. So I think if they can make you really care enough about the characters, I think it'll be good. But yeah, at the minute, it's what's not to love. They would seem to be received well during the Clone Wars season 7, so why not? I'm all right with that. Seems pretty cool.
Yeah, likey. And I really like the idea of the characters as well. Like each of these, I think it's 5. I think it started off with 4, and then another dude joined after one of the episodes. I think I've got that right. So I think you had Crosshair, Wrecker, Tech, and Hunter, who was the sergeant. I think those 4 dudes kicked it off, and then someone called Echo. Is it Echo? I think he joined after that.
He was. Wasn't he was the one that was hooked up to all the computers and stuff, and we thought he was dead and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, good. All right, so you're all right with that then. Yeah. So
you know about that side of it.
Yeah. So he was found basically. Rex found him and unhooked him, but obviously he became a little bit Iron Man. So yeah. Oh, all right. Okay. So yeah, we can go there. Yeah, it looks in that case it looks all right, because Echo's sort of a like he was sort of the bridge between Rex and this Bad Batch, like, and then in turn Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan and stuff. So, yeah, quite interesting from that perspective, dude. I wonder what the animation style is going to be like as well. Like, is it going to be full-on Clone Wars style? Have they tweaked it a little bit? I know we've seen the trailer, but, yeah, just interesting how that legacy lives on a little bit,
Yeah, I think the animation, it looks like it's a Clone Wars episode. The art style and the animation stuff, it probably is going to be fairly close to that. They might have moved a few things on particle effects, volumetric lighting, that kind of thing, but it does look pretty similar. And didn't they knock around with Cody for a while? Doesn't Cody get his hands dirty with these guys?
Oh, I'm not sure actually.
Cody or
Can't
Rex, I don't know.
remember.
And lastly, I don't know if my memory's playing tricks on me, but don't they turn up in Star Wars Rebels? Like they're all old, or is that a different bunch of troopers?
Isn't that Rex in the desert
Yeah.
with his mates, and they're all like, "Ah, you Jedi, Jedi scum." And no, wait a sec. No, it's the other way around. Kanan and Jarrus is really annoyed with them because of what he thought they did.
Yes. Yeah, but it's not the Bad Batch, no. Is it just Rex and his buddies?
Yeah, I think it is. I'll have a quick Google, but I think it is.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right, mate. Yeah. Regardless, this does look pretty cool. So May the 4th, your first episode drops for that. And a few days later, episode 2. But then you've got to wait another week. Then you get your episode 3. I'm not sure how many episodes they're doing per series with this. It doesn't say anywhere. So it's either going to be the full-on 20 odd episodes, or it's probably going to be 10, something like that. I don't know. But
it's feeling a bit like that, isn't it? Like a 13 episode.
Yeah. Talking of clones, more specifically Commandos, Republic Commandos. Remember that badass game that was out back in the early 2000s, I think it was? Republic Commando. I think it was out for like the original Xbox, PS2, that kind of era. It's coming back, dude. Like they did with Jedi Outcast 2, and they brought it out for the Switch and the PS4 and whatnot, and doing the same thing. Star Wars Republic Commando is coming back. You'll be happy, dude. Get it on you can play it on whatever now. You're such a...
I just need to get an Xbox. I'm not that much of a baller.
No, because the only platforms this is coming to is PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, which you have both of.
Which do you have?
Xbox. I've got a PS4 Pro, but I haven't turned it on in like 7 months.
PS4 Pro? Oh.
Don't mess about, mate. Don't mess about.
It's the Pro version.
Yeah, I've got your present. Oh, wicked. It's a PlayStation 4. Is it the Pro version? Take it back. Take it back.
Take it back.
Take it back.
I watched Rocky the other night.
So, dude, Republic Commando, I remember playing this to death back in the day. It's a very, very good squad-based shooter thing. It's not like pew, 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 like let's just run in and shoot the shit out of anything that moves. There's a bit of you have to play a bit of a tactics game with this one. You have to move your squad around properly, covering fire, move, all that sort of stuff. So do I want to fire up the PS4 for this, though? Or wait until it does finally? I don't know. You're not going to get it. I know you're not going to get it. All right.
Why? Well, I mean, if it's a paid job, I'll probably not get it. But if it's not a paid job, I'll probably get it. No, I don't know. It's a funny one. It's one of them that I'd get on Switch. All right, I probably wouldn't get it for PlayStation. I'd get it for Switch, and it's one of those like it'd be a badass game on a plane or when you're traveling. Like that's the only reason that I play my Switch off, like a drunken Mario Kart session. So it's yeah, it is one of those that I'd end up picking up and blasting through. But I remember having it for like my old chipped Xbox. Was it that? Like I had a LAN cable running from my bedroom down to my living room so that I could flash the Xbox and drop games onto the hard drive. It was mint. I had like 30,000 games for it, dude. All legal. And so I think I had it for that. It was around the time, and I seem to remember playing it. And I remember it being a welcome break from things like Splinter Cell and stuff that I was playing at the time. Something a little bit different. So yeah, I'm up for it. I'm up for stuff like this. I think it's awesome to play these. I know it sounds weird, and I know they're not. But whenever you play a game like this again, it always feels like you're playing some retro arcade game, even though it's clearly not an arcade style game. But because it's got that kind of vibe and the graphics, the textures are off, but the colors are really oversaturated. Like that vibe of what it was like back in 2005, 2006-ish. Like all those games were like that. So yeah, fond sort of gaming era for me actually, which was probably around the time of like maybe even like the PS2 Spider-Man game was out then, which was just badass as well. Like that's just a good era of gaming for me, dude. Used to love it. Splinter Cell, the original Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3. Yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah, it was awesome. And you would have played this on it. So Republic Commando was an Xbox exclusive back in the day, along with PC. So you would have played it on the OG Xbox. Same, I did as well. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, freaking love that. Anyway, now the tables have turned. No Xbox love now. It's just PlayStation and Nintendo. So whatever.
Whatevs.
Whatevs, mate. If it does, I think I'll just wait to see if it comes to Xbox. Yeah. I think I'll do that.
Sure.
But anyway, when's this dropping? When is this dropping? It is dropping soon.
Good.
I don't know exactly when, but it is dropping soon. April the 6th is when you'll be able to pick it up. And it's going to be $14, dude. So for us here, probably the same, $14.99, maybe $12.99.
They're pretty cool, actually. The way that they do these things are quite, they always make them just throw away amounts of money, and when I say that, I'm not being flippant. It's more like, I can afford to spend 15 quid in a game because I'm going away. It's one of them, stick it on a beach or whatever. But it's also, it's prime candidate for like a $6.99 reduction in 6 months' time. It's one of them kind of things. Which they're always very attractive when they're like that, because you're like, go on. And you end up with, like, I bought Ghostbusters, the original game that's remastered for the Switch, and that was like 5 quid or 10 quid or something. You think, yeah, you got me, So this is a prime candidate for that, dude. Completely up for that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I did the same thing with Ghostbusters. It was on sale. They were pushing it hard. It was like 7 quid or something. Yeah, I'll have one of them. I haven't played it yet, but I will do. Anyway, a bit more Star Wars. A bit more Star Wars gaming. Now, this is freaking sweet. Jedi Fallen Order. You're playing the game. You're running through the first level, doing everything. It's all good. You come across this door that's got a button on it. You hit the button, you just hear a sound like and you think, can't go through there. I'll just move on. No, not this gamer. This gamer hits the button, hears the noise. He's like, what happens if I press this a couple more times? Nothing happens. Looks at his watch. I've got a couple of hours. I'm just going to keep hitting this button. Anyway, turns out that this one button, if you hit it 66 times, it plays this sound clip from Sidious saying execute order 66 as an Easter egg. Now, mate, this is not big news, but if you go on Reddit or whatever and you look at the comments for this, pretty much I'd say, and there's thousands of comments, I'd probably say 80% of them is just a copy and paste of who finds the time or who figures out this type of Easter egg. And and the guy who posted the original video is like, well, it was a kind of an obvious thing. And everyone's like, what? How is that obvious? He's like, well, there's a door with a button, but there's nothing beyond it. So chances are, if you keep doing something's, well, I don't know. But man, what an Easter egg to find. That's patience for you.
It is, isn't it? I think it's also the presence of mind to go, wait a sec, that's a button you can press and there's nothing behind it. I'd just be like, that's a door, you can't go through it, see you later. And I'd just assume that all buttons could be pressed. You know what I mean? I won't give a toss about it. And then, like, the presence of mind to know when to not stop. Like, I've got to 50. What? Where? Oh, shit, I'm at 60. Now what? You're like, yeah, go on, I'll give it a few more. You know what I mean? When do you think to yourself, enough is enough when it comes to that? I don't even know what to say about it. It's just all right, fair play. What are you doing? But I do admire the person for doing it and actually having the presence of mind, number one, to think to himself, oh, wait a sec, there's nothing behind that door, but you can press the button. And number two, not just think that was a common button thing. And then number three, just that willingness to do it.
It's crazy.
Would I do it myself? No, ever, never.
But you're right, though. When you get to a nice even round number, like 10, I'd be bored. Like, defo, nothing's happening. You get to 50, I don't know.
And he's counting them just in case.
Yeah.
So he's like,
1%,
if there is an Easter egg. Yeah, exactly. If there's an Easter egg. And so then the next question, right? Did he just go press, execute order? And he was like, crap, got to do that again and count them. 1, 2.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Well, you can't, because you have to wait for the animation to stop of the pushing the button and come back. So it's like,
oh my God. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah, mate, you can't speed run it. It's like, but anyway, fair play to that dude who found it. But now this has just opened up the floodgates, because now everyone's going to every switch, every wall panel, everything standing there, hitting it 66 times to see if like it does anything. So if I was Respawn, I'd be cracking up laughing.
Yeah, me too, man. It's also like, what other numbers do you put in there? Like, is someone going to go and smash buttons 2,187 times? You know what I mean? And it's like, well, there's another Easter egg. Are they going to take every number? And like, just, well, wait a sec. The R is the 100th letter in the alphabet, so we're going to do 100, 2, and then D is the 4th, 4, 2. Where do you stop with this stuff, dude? You know what I mean? Because that's like, it's like life is gone. Life is gone.
Yeah, he's not going to get that time back. But on the other side of the coin, what's really even funnier is that you've probably got all of these devs at Respawn getting their asses kicked because they need to hit a deadline to get the game out. And they're like, you fix those bugs. No, this is better.
And you know that today, like, when this came back into the news, you just know that, sales will have dropped a little bit, but now we've got thousands of comics on Reddit and people are replaying it or buying it for the first time. You know that dev's just like, that thing. Yeah. It's all kicked off. Bet you wish I'd fixed that bug now, don't you? Well, I didn't. You're welcome.
Yeah, Kestis might have fallen down that off that precipice because a glitch was like, he just fell off of it. But it's a trade-off.
Yeah. Win some, you lose some.
There you go. So
it's funny, isn't it? Funny. Fair play to him, though.
Yeah, funny old world. Yeah, makes me sound really old. Funny old world, isn't it?
Funny old. When I was a kid, there was none of this stuff. You shook your dice and you got your numbers, and that was it.
Mate, back in my day, it was down, down, left, right, A, B, B, down, up, and then you're in.
Oh yeah,
cheat mode.
Yeah, easy. A B, unlock supersonic. Jobs are good. There
you go. Should we talk about some rumors?
There's always rumors, isn't there?
Always rumors abound, which I like. So, live action Ezra. This has come up quite a few times over the last year. Supposedly, they've cast somebody. They've not made a show yet, but they've cast somebody in the role. Remember that Disney film Aladdin, the live action version with Will Smith as the genie?
No.
Anyway, there was a film by Disney, live action Aladdin. Will Smith was the genie. And the dude who played Aladdin was this actor called Mina Masood. He was pretty good.
I've never seen it.
As good as Will Smith? I don't know. We'll see.
I was Robin Williams.
Robin, bless his soul.
Robin Williams.
Yeah, it's the old animated version, of course.
He was one, wasn't he? Yeah. He was good, isn't he? Told Bob Will.
Oh, legend, Robin Williams. Anyway,
he was good.
Yeah, so Mina Masood, he was like and I can see why people are saying that this is a thing, because those of you that are a bit more sort of culturally sort of forward thinking, not like Mark, just sits there watching whatever, people hitting buttons 66 times. Those of us that have got a cultured bone in our body that watch other stuff, you'll see that the character of Aladdin looks very, very similar to the Ezra character in the latter stages of Rebels, where he's got the longer hair and stuff. So it's a really good, like, if you could pluck somebody out of an animated show and into live action, this guy Masood is very, very, he's got that look like perfectly down. Now, the only problem is, as we face these rumors and everything all the time, is that there's still no official thing from Lucasfilm or Disney. This is just one of those things where I don't know if it's like a click thing, like CBR.com just need a bit more. Look, guys, we're not seeing enough green numbers this week. We need, a lot of red. We need some green numbers. Let's get some clicks on. What should we write about? Yeah, let's do that. So the only thing is, there's no sources with this one. Sometimes when we're talking about Doomcock or whoever it might be, they often cite, oh, my sources at Lucasfilm have told me X. There's none of that with this. It's just the rumor mill doing the thing. And also you add on to that, there is no Ezra show. officially announced. There's none of the current shows that have been announced that they've said that Ezra's going to be in any of them as a character yet. So this is literally just a thing. But I guess with this, if this does turn out to be true, we might get a Thrawn casting as well to follow suit. What do you reckon?
Well, first up, it is very good casting visually. Let's be honest. It really does fit. It's a funny one, isn't it? Because we never really got any confirmed casting of Rosario Dawson, and then there she is. She's here, Ahsoka Tano. We also never got any real concrete casting of Tamura Morrison. It was just, there he is. Let's do some posters after the fact. So it's interesting because we know Ahsoka's out there. We know that there's a series coming. We know she's looking for Thrawn. We know where Ezra is in relationship with. He's not in a relationship with Thrawn unless they've spent a lot of time together. But in relation to Thrawn, we know that they're intrinsically connected. At this point, so it's a safe bet that Ezra will at least be referenced, and I'd be shocked if he didn't make an appearance at this point because of Thrawn, nothing else. As for the casting rumor itself, you're right. It's not like, we heard from our source at Lucasfilm, like you said. It's almost like when they do fan casting, like when we used to do that for 2 shots, it was like, top 5 picks for the Justice League. It's sort of a little bit like that, but it's actually really good. So I don't know. If the rumor is true, all well and good. If the rumor is not true and it leads to this kind of casting, then I'm kind of all right with it. So either way, there's certainly not a negative. But I think Ezra will appear, and I think there will need to be some sort of casting. And I think when you look at I can't remember the timings on it, but I think they will be having to cast for it at this point. They will need to be doing it fairly soon, you would have thought. Because Mando, the Book of Boba Fett is December. I don't think there's anything else Star Wars apart from Bad Batch this year on Disney Plus, is there? Is it just Bad Batch and Ahsoka's probably next year?
Kenobi did.
Oh, is that this year? I thought it was next year. Right. So I would imagine, the timing feels about right if you're going to start pre-production. So yeah, I don't know. I can see this. I can buy this. Certainly not the weirdest thing we've heard recently, is it?
Yeah, true. There was some rumors about Thrawn being casted, but they were dismissed fairly quickly. So this kind of conversation is obviously doing the rounds somewhere about these characters.
Mm.
And it's weird, isn't it? Because I don't think Ezra's got enough weight to carry his own show. Like if you could do an Ezra show that's going to be more than 6 or 8 episodes, I don't know how you would fill that, really. So he's going to have to pop up in something else. He's definitely not going to pop up in Kenobi, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But even if, like you said, if they do happen to go with this, then it's a very good casting call because this guy looks pretty much bang on. So because it's really weird on the website, cbr.com. They've chosen a screenshot of Ezra with the really short hair.
Yeah. They have.
Which is the latter, sort of towards the tail end of Rebels. But yeah, this guy, he's always got long hair, this actor, whenever you see him. So I don't know. There we go. Ezra might be coming, but we'll let you guys know what's happening with that. Last bit of quick news before we talk about Gina Carano. And it's just popped up just before we recorded. But those of you that are into your toys and collectibles and stuff from Hasbro, they've announced that they're going to expand Hasbro Pulse to pretty much everywhere, including the UK, which is going to be cool. It's going to be later this year, so probably Augusty time. But those of you that don't know, Hasbro Pulse is a place where you can look at all of the upcoming toy lines, so the Black Series, the Vintage line, all of those things. You can pre-order them, which you can't do for any other toy store, really. You have to just wait until they come into stock and try and hunt them down. But Hasbro Pulse, you can go on there, you can pre-order, which is great. And they've also got, they've typically got a line of exclusives that you wouldn't find out in the stores as well. So I think they're trying to push some some product out towards anywhere that's not the US, essentially. So this is really great news, dude, because I always see collectors on Instagram or Reddit, whatever, and they've got these really cool Black Series figures, but nobody else can get them because they've got them directly through Hasbro Pulse. So we'll let you know when that date's confirmed, but these things normally it's around August time to get set up ready to run into the Christmas period. So that's going to be wicked, dude.
Yeah, it will. I agree, man. It's nice to not have to rely on places like Amazon and the big pre-orders that you've got to get through there just to be in with a chance of getting something. So yeah, I'm up for this one as well, dude. And it's I'm not a fan of all the figures, but some of the more premium ones, some of the Black Series ones, I think are great for the collection. So yeah, anything that makes it more accessible and that you're not having to throw your money towards Amazon is always useful. So I'm keen for that one. It's nice to just browse as well, isn't it, and feel part of it. It sounds weird, but of a night time or 20 minutes at lunch, just scoping through on the iPad and just getting a feel for what you might want over the next 6 to 12 months and actually feeling like you can get it as opposed to that'd be nice. It is quite nice. So yeah, no, I like it, man. I can see I can see me spending a little bit of money on this, if I'm honest with you. It's never one figure, is it? It's always 2 or 3
every time. Yeah, and like you, man, I'm not just gonna order everything on there. I'm just gonna wait for those cool premium looking, the Black Series ones probably. So yeah, good time.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It is. It's nice. It's nice to see that, and it's sort of surprising that it's not been in the UK before. Because it must be a huge market, for collectors. But alas, we get it. We get it now.
We get it. Yeah. Cool. So that's news. There's nothing kicking around that's worth talking about, I don't think, at the moment. We're certainly not going to dive into any Mike Zero Doomcock stuff this week. They haven't landed with anything of comedy value. Yeah. So let's talk about a subject that's done the rounds a lot over the last week. So I reported back a couple of weeks ago when I ran solo about Gina Carano being fired from The Mandalorian. And it was because I think Lucasfilm had just had enough of having to deal with social media backlash because Gina Carano, she's very forthcoming with her tweets and what she feels about political issues and whatnot. And it was kind of inevitable, really, that Lucasfilm were going to do this because, and I'll come on to a couple more details in a second, but after she was fired, she went quiet. Everyone was like, yeah, we expected that, or everyone kicked off, whatever. But then quite surprisingly, she's kind of like, nah, I'm not going to let this go. I'm not going to let this, like the way I've been treated by Lucasfilm and Disney. So she jumped onto the Ben Shapiro show. So Ben Shapiro is a very popular media celebrity, got like a really popular YouTube channel, is always in the House of Congress in the US talking about political issues and things around race and religion and stuff like that. He's probably the most Jewish person on YouTube, pretty much. And he'll probably say that himself. He doesn't shy away from that. He's very much a leading figure in that community and so on. And Gina Carano was like, okay, well, let's do something. Let's show these big corporations that we're not going to be bullied and whatnot. So Ben Shapiro was like, okay, let's go one step further. You come on and do an interview, tell us how you feel, but then there's no reason why you shouldn't be out of work. So let's make a movie. So they're gonna fund a film that I think she's going to produce as well as star in, possibly write as well. And so this interview went out and she spoke up around, and a lot of things came to light. Now, when I reported on this in that show a couple of weeks ago, there was, I had been shown via various websites and media outlets a couple of the tweets that she had put out there, and it annoyed me after the fact, because the way that these stories were presented out to the world was like Gina Carano makes fun of the Holocaust. Gina Carano makes fun or compares, living in his political age to the Jews and, the Nazis and all that stuff. And I was like, that's not on, that doesn't sound very good at all. It just doesn't sound good. And then when you read more into it and then you watch the interview, it's like, well, actually, yeah, you've got to tread carefully, I guess. Definitely, when you're going to bring up subjects like that and compare and stuff like that, it's definitely a risk because of just the way the world is right now, and the world's just full of Karens and keyboard warriors, and there's different movements and stuff. So, but when you hear her talk about it, and she says, well, actually, what I actually meant was this, and what I actually meant was that, you kind of feel like, oh, actually, yeah. And this goes back also to these other tweets where she upsetted the trans community and stuff like that with pronouns, and she took the piss a little bit, and stuff like that. But then you find out that she wasn't, she didn't mean any harm to those people. She was just pushing back on the mob, telling her that she had to declare her pronouns and all that stuff. So, dude, this interview was really enlightening, and I've got to say, it's like some of the things that she said as well, that the way Disney treated her, like in a nutshell, she basically said that they were on her like grilled cheese, basically, watching every move she made, monitoring her tweets and all that jazz. And they wanted her to jump onto a Zoom call with 40 people, all to sort of educate her about these subjects and everything like that. And she was really going through it, man. So I don't know if you've seen this interview, but it's a real eye opener, man. And I've got to say, I think I'm on team Carano at the minute. Yeah.
Tough situation, isn't it, man? And I've not seen the interview. It's been a heck of a week, so I've not got to it. But the climate at the minute is interesting for this sort of stuff. You are always gonna frustrate someone, regardless of where you are. And the media inevitably likes to report on the extremes, whether it's the extremes against someone or the extremes for someone. They never report the story. They always report the extremities of said story. And I think that, there's a lot of challenges that come with being Disney and being associated with Disney, and where Disney has come from in the past, some of the things it's had to handle, some of the things that it will continue to have to handle. When you look at some of the stuff that it's even like putting bloody announcements at the beginning of the Muppet Show on Disney Plus. I think that was this week. Some of the stuff that it's had to handle in regards to its 1930s, 1940s, 1950s movies. Even through to what we talked about last week, where Luke Skywalker's seen as a conservative, what's the word? A conservative kind of pillar, and it must be tough to navigate all of this for anyone involved. And that, I think, a lot of the time that leads you to this very nondescript middle ground where you can't go either way, and everything is blown out of proportion because you are in the public eye, and you set an example for one set of people that annoys the other set of people, and so on and so forth. It's the way of the world. Now, as a person, think about someone like Gina Carano as a person who she's admitted she's a hothead. She speaks her mind. Not everyone's going to like it. There's a lot of virtue signaling, I would imagine, that you have to put up with as a celebrity. Everyone wants you to fight their side, fight their corner, be in their corner. If you're a conservative or a liberal, if that's the clearest distinction to make and the best example to use because it's easy to understand. You want your celebrity people that you look up to or that you watch on TV every week, you want them to be in your corner regardless of what your corner is. And when you're not, you're the devil. You're the you're the kind of anti everything, and it must be hard as a person to deal with that, as the person. And I think one of the interesting things, and I don't know enough about the case to be able to say I'm Team Carano or I'm not Team Carano. I genuinely don't know enough about the case. But what I would say is that it's rare that people are malicious. It's rare. The media paints it to be a big thing, and it paints everyone to be malicious and everyone with an agenda. But that's because it sells. It's because there are stories in the extremes. There's never stories in the normalcy of life. And people are very rarely malicious. When you bolt on social media, and the fact that you can type something without context or without a smile or without a laugh, or without a, the kind of satirical tone that you and I might add. If I text you dickhead, you're like, this guy's problem. If I just go dickhead, it's completely different.
It's a daily thing.
Yeah, dickhead. So I think that's a huge challenge and it's part of the world that we live in now, is that, the world's going through a transformation, and a lot of it's for good and a lot of it is potentially harmful. It's where do you draw the line with anything, and where is the line? And we've got to keep pushing the boundaries of what's acceptable and how we should be handling things. And you sort of forget that it really is just like the only line that we should have is just that respect line. Everyone just deserves the same level of respect, and regardless of whether you agree with them or not, that respect line should always be there. And it's funny, isn't it? Because these people are working. This is their job, and it is easy for the mob. And I'm not saying this is the case and this is what happened, but I'm just saying that it would be easy for a mob of people that are loud enough to stop someone being able to work just because they didn't agree with it. But at the same time, it would be very easy for the mob to keep people working who potentially shouldn't be working for the very same reasons. And I just think it's about balance. I think it's about balance with everything. And I just don't know whether a corporation like Disney can incorporate balance because of where it's positioned in the industry. It's just brought Star to Disney Plus to add an adult edge to the proceedings. It's Disney. It's had to bring another brand in to put an F word in there. So that at the most basic level shows what Disney can and can't realistically be seen to be doing, which is anything that isn't PG-13, and when you escalate that up to politics and to respect and all that, all that good stuff that goes alongside it, Disney just has to play it so cautiously because it would rather err on the side of playing it safe. It's easy to get it wrong when you play it safe and come back from that than it is to play it the other way and go aggressive and stand up for something that will be more divisive, but that might need talking about. If you do that and you annoy the vast majority of the people that watch your things, that's difficult to come back to. So it's a really hard situation for everyone involved. And I feel for Gina Carano. I feel like she's a little bit tone deaf sometimes, but we all are. We all say things where you think, fuck, actually. We all do that. But at the same time, it has to be measured and balanced. And that I think is what I'm trying to get to, is that's the challenge these days. There is no balance. There is no measured responses. People are in the extremes, more so than ever before. And that's the problem. But yeah, I don't know enough about this particular case, if I'm honest. I've not looked at the interview, but I know it's a tough thing to navigate is what I'm getting at. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I read you did. Yeah, and you're spot on as well. It's very, very difficult to navigate. I think the crux of the issue was that Disney had these, or Lucasfilm had these, I guess, a set of political views and standards. And because Gina Carano didn't quite align herself with that and agree with them and said her own thing, it didn't sit pretty with some of the execs and some of the people there. And I think her other main problem was that if you look at someone like Pedro Pascal, who has been really controversial on Twitter over the last couple of years, nothing's said, we don't know exactly behind the scenes, but certainly nothing publicly has ever been said, like, slap on the wrist, don't do that. Whereas she does it a couple of times and then bosh, she's out the door. And she did say in that interview that she loves Pedro. He's a good guy. But then she also said that there's another couple of people that have done similar stuff, and she could quite easily say, what about this person? But she doesn't want to out anybody. She doesn't want anyone to lose their job or anything. So it's a difficult one, man. But yeah, check out the interview. It's a really fascinating listen, because it's one of those rare times where I think a lot of actors who work at a company like Disney and Lucasfilm, they're very much the ambassadors for that show, regardless if something's not quite sitting pretty, they just shoulder it and they crack on, and they're the face of that program to a large extent. So it's one of those rare times where you peek behind the curtain at some of the views and opinions of what was actually going on. And she seems really genuine as well. It's not she's not just trying to jump on the media bandwagon while it's hot, just to clear her name, anything like that. She holds her hands up to a couple of things and explains why she did certain things. So it's fascinating, man. But I'm just, the only thing, just to finish up on this, I just worry that we don't go into this cancel culture thing too much, because a lot of these people who went after the hashtag fire Gina Carano, after that had settled down a bit for a day or two, they went after Rosario Dawson, something else that she had tweeted a while ago and stuff like that. So let's just hope, things like that don't continue. But yeah, it's fascinating, dude. It's and also let's not let it taint our love of Star Wars. That's the thing.
Well, the challenge is that you end up becoming the Empire.
Exactly.
Yeah. You do. If it's our way or the highway. And in 2021, I understand you got to be an ambassador for the things that you represent, and you have, and you should set the example. And same with footballers and sports people and everything else. When you're in the public eye, you are held to a different standard, and you are an ambassador for the things that pay your wages. Inevitably, that is the case. And I think it's one of those hard situations where if you're not naturally cut out for the corporate world, you will always butt up against it. And it's a shame for talent to go amiss just because they don't fit what the corporate people need. And then we've just got to be careful around balance and context. I think that's the key thing, and respect. We're all allowed to differ. Was she tone deaf with comparing conservatives to the Holocaust and being treated like the Jewish population? Yes, that's tone deaf. Sentimentally, people understood it, but it was just tone deaf. That's all. It wasn't cheapening what happened. It was simply drawing a comparison that was a little tone deaf at the time. That was it. There was no malicious intent, I don't think. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Yeah, we better wrap up, aren't we? Oof,
yeah, that's it.
I didn't see the time.
There you go. That's it. So we are going to wrap there. Let's stick a pin in it for episode 95.
I keep coughing, Gaz.
Well,
do you want to just leave this in?
Yeah, leave it in.
Just leave it in. I've got a little cough. I don't know if it's COVID.
Well, go and get some Hall soothers. You'll be all right. Anyway, thank you to all of our listeners for listening and coming back for another week. It's great to have you all here. Remember to subscribe to the show, whatever podcast app you get your podcasts on. Just do a search for Spark of Rebellion. You'll find us on there, or head over to the website, sparkofrebellion.com. You can listen to all of our shows on there. We're on the socials too, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you want to support the show, like our other Patreons, we'd love to have you as a supporter, patreon.com/Spark of Rebellion. You can jump up onto any tier from $1 upwards. And thank you so much to our current patrons. I love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We will see you next week for episode 96. Until then, take care of yourselves, dude. Mark, it's been great talking to you as always, buddy.
Saturday.
We will see you next time. Until then, may the force be with you always.
Always. Damn. All right, you beautiful YouTubers. Time to wrap. Yeah, I've got these office hours now, haven't I, YouTubers? So if you're into podcasting, come along to those as well. Check them out. Good sesh, guys. Enjoyed that. Thank you, YouTube. I was watching some Star Wars theory yesterday, by the way, guys, for the specific YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy's a real YouTuber. Like I said last week, he's got intros and everything.
Yeah. We'll get around to it. We'll get around to it. All right, team. Much love. We're going to stop the broadcast, get the episode in your podcast app tomorrow, and we'll see you same time next week. Bye.